Hey folks, JD here, and just right at the beginning, just a quick apology if you do hear any interference over this recording. It's just my 3D printer. It was actually meant to have finished about half an hour ago, but the print's taken a bit longer than usual, so if you're hearing any interference in the background, sorry folks, it's just the 3D printer finishing off the current print that I'm doing. Okay, so today what have we got? We've got this beauty, look at this. Now, this is the X46G Battle Wolf, and it's a very big thank you to Banggood for sending me this. Now this again is another one of these 5G quadcopters. Looks a lot like a very similar shape that we've seen recently, but still, let's have a little look at it and let's see exactly what it is that this can do. This is the dual battery versions. There are two batteries with this. There we are, beautiful. Let's just get both of these out, and let's get everything out, and then we'll have a little look at this quadcopter. Nice little case as well that it comes in, and I do like that. I think the presentation of a case is really nice. So this is the quad, look at that, and it's really quite large, and it stands out a bit because it looks, well, it's quite a similar shape to what we've seen the fold-in 5G quadcopters, but again it looks so different. We've got these two great big bug eyes at the front, and that's where your LEDs are. I'm guessing two very pure white LEDs inside there. We've got this focus model drone there, and then we've got our electronic camera on the bottom there. So obviously standard camera. It is controlled via your transmitter, so you can move the lens up and move it down. Now it's not gimbaled, so there probably might be a little bit of jello there, but we're going to wait to see whether or not there is when we do actually take this out and fly it. So as with everything, let's start off with the camera and work our way directly back to the quadcopter and then back underneath here. So what do we have at the front? We have a 5G Wi-Fi capable camera which gives you video output of 1080p and photos of 4K. Now, as I say with all of these cameras, in every single unboxing I do for these particular quads, I doubt very much this is going to be genuine 1080, and I doubt the photos are going to be genuine 4K. Now, it says 4K, the lenses aren't great, the sensors aren't great usually with these quads, so therefore we're not going to see, probably not going to see a photo or video output as high as what we should. That being said, we'll have a little look at the video. I'll probably do a separate video so we can go over the video as well as the photos and see exactly what we think there. Now on the front, as I say, we've got this camera lens. The lens itself isn't gimbaled, so there might be a bit of shaking. As we work our way up, we have this very striking red bar, almost like a grille of a car on the front, with two very bright white LEDs on the front. They are almost like bug eyes. They do stick out quite a lot either side. That being said, it should give you quite nice orientation you should be able to see which orientation you're at rather from this particular quad just by using these two LEDs. Then we come on to the top of the quad. So obviously, as you can see, we have this great big expanse here. This is where these batteries fit. Now these are a 7.4 volt 3500 milliamp hour LiPo. Now these are huge, really large. Let's take that off. So as you can see on the front, we have our on and off button. Click to turn on, and then probably click and hold as it to turn off. Yeah, there we go. And then you have your two little release catches, one on one side, one on the other, so both on the left and right. Push in, as you can see, and then as you push it in, then these two little sides will depress enough for you to get your battery back out. Now, micro USB port for charging really does annoy me. This, with the batteries of these particular size, I would much prefer to see a balanced charger. That being said, we are going to be expecting to have approximately 400 minutes per battery here, and this is the dual battery pack, so 400 minutes per battery to charge. That then should give us a flight time of 25 minutes, so let's just click that in. Goes in really nicely. Looks quite nice. The battery's a different shade of black to the actual body. That being said, it's not that much of an issue, other than if you're like me and you like things to be quite uniform. Let's move everything. Oh, those arms clicking beautifully. That's a really nice click. I like that a lot. So this particular quad, oh, sorry about that folks, hit the camera. That's not great, but there we go. That's what you look like with the quadcopter with the arms fully extended. Nice little rubber bung on the bottom here of the landing sprig. We have our brushless motors at the top here. These are 1806 brushless motors with our propellers on the top there as well. Split propellers, pretty standard. These are metal coated or metal casing 1806 brushless motors. That being said, they should be able to give us quite a bit of power, and this quad does feel a little bit weighty, but it's not the most heavy that we've had on here, certainly not. That, oh, I love those arms, they just snap back beautifully, really well. There's a nice bit of spring there. I really like that a lot, and then they click into place. That's beautiful. Yeah, I really like that. I think that is really nice. The plastic on this feels quite thin, but at the same time it does feel quite sturdy. So it does feel as if they have tried to lessen the weight by using the thin plastic, but at the same time they have tried to instill that it does feel a little bit nice. It does feel a little bit a bit thick, a bit heavy. We've got our single LED at the back there as well, and on the underside we have some aeration holes here and some aeration holes at the front here of the camera module. You have an optical flow sensor here and upside down camera. It's 720p output, that particular camera is on the bottom here, so you'll probably be able to switch between the front facing camera and the underneath within the app. Once you do that, this will be 720, so the quality is going to be very noticeable from the front to the back. And then likewise we have these little rings underside here as well. These are some LEDs also, not on the back I don't believe. No, just on the front. That's fine. So there we go. We've got LEDs at the front, LEDs on the underside, and LEDs at the back. So you should be able to see this without there being much issue. So that's the quadcopter. Let me just put her there for a second. Now, a couple of other things about it. It is GPS. It is 5G. It is going to have waypoints. It is going to have follow me, single key takeoff, as well as you should be able to calibrate it quite easily without there being any issue. It has a photo and video button, so we shouldn't have any problem there whatsoever in being able to fly and or maneuver the quadcopter. That should be quite easy. So all in all, I'm quite looking forward to taking this up. The full flight distance of this is 500 meters, and likewise that is the video relay as well. It is rated at 500 meters, so you're probably going to get about 250 to 300 meters, I would have thought, by the time you take into consideration things like atmospherics and other environmental factors in that. So there we go. So that's the quad. So let me move that to one side. Let me put that there. I'm going to put the other battery here as well, just so you can see them both there. So this is the dual battery pack. Then we have our transmitter. Now, this looks quite nice. Telemetry screen on the front. We have a very nice feeling transmitter. Apart from these two analog sticks, feel quite cheap. They don't depress, there's no buttons there. We have our take photo, take video buttons here as well by the look of it on the front. Oh no, we have a camera with an arrow pointing in, a camera with an arrow pointing out. I'm going to say they're for taking photos, so we'll test that when we're out in the field in a little while. We also have one key takeoff, we have auto landing, we have our on and off button there as well. That's a return to home rather. And then you have north and south, that's your calibration button, and then you have headless mode there as well. On the right hand side you have photo and video button. Oh, that's quite strange. Okay, maybe I'll have to come back at these and have a look another little time when we take them out, because I thought this was going to be photos and then the back was going to be video, but obviously if you've got a photo and video button here, it's quite strange to have the same at the front there. And then you've got your speed button then on the left shoulder button there as well. Now, one thing that does annoy me about this straight away, these antennas are fake, and that does really annoy me. There's no need of it. I get so annoyed when fake antennas are added for no particular reason. Essentially, the antennas are inbuilt inside here. There is no need for these whatsoever. So if you wanted to, you could always snap those off. And there's a couple of videos of me showing you exactly how to do that, because I do that live on video. And then in the back here, that's where your batteries go. You should have 3 AA batteries inside here. Oh, there we go. There's your 3 AA batteries that should fit inside there. I would have quite liked to have seen this to have a battery pack for charging. That being said, your 3 batteries that go in here have got to be fully charged, as this transmitter does not allow USB charging at all. On the underside, you have your FPV boom, just for your phone to fit in there, and that then will give you real-time video relay from the camera in your quadcopter. So that is your transmitter. Very basic, very light, but at the same time, if it does what it's meant to do, then I'm quite happy with that. Now you have 2 little boxes, that come with it. One contains your screwdriver and your micro USB cable for charging your batteries. Bearing in mind, when you do charge the batteries, don't leave them unattended, and you have got it is an approximate time of 400 minutes to charge each battery. And in your other box, you have some spare propellers there as well, should you need them, should you crack or damage the ones that come on this particular quadcopter. And then you have your manual. Now this manual is quite straightforward, quite nice, in full colour and multiple languages. Goes into the app mostly, but also does talk about very basic manoeuvres with the quadcopter, enough to get you up and running. So I would definitely recommend, as I do with all my quads, I definitely recommend you having a little read of that, just so that you can get the full potential out of this quad and know exactly what you're going to do before you take them out and fly. That being said, my friends, I think I'm going to leave that there for the unboxing today. We are now going to take this out and take it for a bit of a flight and see exactly what we think. So please, come with me. Alright then folks, let's give this a shot. Now one thing I do still love about this is these arms. They just click into place really nicely. And then it gives you the extra confidence. Or at least it gives me the extra confidence in its flight. It just goes really nicely. So I charged the battery. It did take 4 hours and... was it 4 hours and 4 hours and 15 minutes to charge it, and that was directly from a 5-volt USB port on my Mac. I've also charged the other one using a USB plug plugged into the 3-pin outlet, and that took, was it 3 hours and 53, 3 hours and 45 to charge that. But it'd be interesting to see how the battery charge lasts in this versus that one. So what we're going to do first is turn this on. So it should be click and hold, it's on goes the transmitter. I'm going to try single, oh no, click and hold then, yeah, there we go. So let's turn off the transmitter again, let's turn it back on. Should be single, one up and one down to bind. Now it was doing that at the same time that I think I was trying to bind, so it may be auto binding. Another way to find out, let's just turn it off and see what it does. Yeah, auto binds. There we are, no problem whatsoever. Nice clear telemetry screen as well. Volts for the transmitter and for the quadcopter up in the top as you're flashing back and forth. GPS is on, speed and height and distance, and here comes a dog. So you'll have one beep from this when you have 6 satellites, which is when you're able to fly. Then you should have another beep from it then once it's calibrated. So what we're going to do, we're going to open up the HFun Plus app. There we are, HFun Plus, and fortunately it's not yet another application you have to download. Fortunately it's one I had downloaded it already for another app, for another quadcopter. Okay, so I'm just going to check the settings out on this for a second, and I'm just going to ensure that there's nothing in there, there we are, there's nothing to fix shaky photos, anti-shaking is off and all that, even though it probably doesn't apply to this, but still I don't want anything to kind of be doctoring how the quadcopter or how the footage looks. So I'm going to click start, and it should launch us directly. Oh, there we are, not connected. I did this last week as well. I forgot to connect it to Wi-Fi because it automatically now. Whereas before, the quadcopter would just scan and my phone would just connect to an open network. Now, since I've paired my GoPro to my phone, it is using. They are using the GoPro as the available SSID. There we go. So we are connected. We have full video relay. We have 13 satellites. That is reflected in the transmitter as well. We have full battery. Again, that is reflected in the transmitter. So I'm going to calibrate. So if I click, I believe it's that button there. We've still got 14 satellites. Right. Okay. So sorry about the constant interruptions, folks. I came out here early on a Sunday because there never used to be anybody that comes down here really early on a Sunday, and saying that, there's now been 3 people and a 4th one that's just walked in ridiculously early on a Sunday. Right, okay, so we'll carry on anyway, and I'll just have to doctor the video just to allow the people to pass before I take this up. One thing I have tried to do, I've tried to calibrate using the buttons on the transmitter, and I'm not getting any prompt whatsoever for any sort of calibration. So it is saying we've got 16 satellites. The quadcopter, let's have a look at the LEDs under here. The LEDs are all flashing. Maybe it's auto-initiating. I have clicked a lot of buttons, so maybe it's auto-initiated a calibration sequence, which is what some of them do. Yes, that has locked the back LEDs. And then the front, let me see if I just twist it up with the camera pointing up. There we are, that has beeped as well, and now we're solid on the back, we're solid on the front. The LEDs in the front, the brilliant white LEDs in the front are solid as well. Great, so it does, it auto-initiates calibration calibration. As soon as you turn on the quad, as soon as you bind it and get it all set up, it'll automatically initiate calibration. So all you have to do then is exactly what I did: twist it and then turn its orientation and twist it again. It does tell you all that in the manual as well, should you want to just check it out. Now, I'm not going to put these antennas up today because they are fake. There's no antenna actually running through them. These are just two little bits of plastic, so that's not going to help anybody at all. So I'm going to keep them down. It is going to feel quite strange with them down. If I do feel too weird, then I'll just pop them up. But I think that has us ready to take off. So we have the quadcopter fully calibrated, the transmitter calibrated and bound to the quadcopter, and we also have the smartphone then bound to the SSID of the quadcopter. So with this, I'm going to initiate auto takeoff, which should be that button there. Yep, there we go. Stand back. Or at least that starts the motors. Well, that's a very sprightly thing. So all I did is click that one button there to start the motors, and then I just moved the throttle up. One omission on the, let me just get my screen recording. There is one omission on the unboxing video where I said that I didn't understand these two buttons at the top here. This is for your gimbal movement, so gimbal up and gimbal down. You've also got exactly the same movement down here as well. So if I just use, where's the down arrow? The down one is on the right. And it does, click and hold, and you will find that the gimbal will move. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to start some video. So let's have a little look. If I start it on here, usually it'll beep like hell. Save image. Right, video is recording. Hello doggy. Have you run away from your master? Which is probably down the other end of the field right now. Because that was for one of the stops when I paused earlier, was because there was a gentleman that came down with that exact dog. So he should be right the way down to the clearing now. Okay, one thing I noticed about this quad to begin with, it's very sprightly. So I'm not going to go too far. I'm not going to do too much. I'm just going to fly it around to begin with. Wow, this thing flies well. Wow, this thing flies remarkably well. It's so light on the sticks. My God, this is ridiculously light. Air brakes work well. What speed have I got her in? So there's two speed modes, single and dual. And I had her in, I think I had her in dual then. So I'm going to try it now again in single mode and see exactly how we do. No, it was exactly the same mode I had her in. Wow, this feels, do you know what? I thought this was going to fly a lot like the Vizio, the Zen K1. But in flying this now, this flies so much different. It's so nice. It's ridiculously smooth. Wow. I did not expect that at all. I thought this was going to be, oh, and those brilliant white LEDs in the front, you have no problem whatsoever in seeing those. It is ridiculously light. Really is. Let's take her out a little way over here. Now, I don't want to take her too far away from me today. I don't know if you can, how well you can see the scenery around by me, but we have got an immense amount of fog, and I have got a lot of frame skipping by the look of it on the video. Flight wise though, there's somebody coming, so I'm gonna have to down this quad for a second, folks, and then I'll take her back up once the person has moved on. It is, as I'm bringing her down, look how slow it is to bring her down. I'm 100% on on the throttle there, and she is so controlled. Wow. Okay, let's land her for a second then, and I'll be back once I have a clear path to fly her. Okay, right then, so the person has moved on, so let's fly. Watch this now. Single button to start the motors. This thing is ridiculously light on the sticks. Absolutely. When you think to yourself, well, look, just the movements are so nice. That's what I can't get over. LED is so bright, I can see them no problem whatsoever in orientation. LEDs underneath, as soon as the quadcopter flies overhead, you can see no problem. The LEDs at the back, the LEDs underside. But even when I'm out at a distance now of 58 meters, when I turn around, I can see those brilliant white LEDs. The orientation LEDs are so good, ridiculously good. Let's turn her around again and take her back out. And, oh, yeah, I like this. I like this a lot. This had me right from very word go. 70 meters out, bringing her back. Again, I can see those LEDs. Those LEDs are great. Although I do have a lot of frame skipping. And a lot of, which is quite ridiculous. We have no weather here whatsoever at all. Yes, I did mean to say it that way. No wind, nothing at all apart from quite a bit of fog and quite a bit of sun, which is making it really easy to fly her line of sight. Yeah, do you know what? Banked her in a bit hard then, but no problem whatsoever. Speed mode 2, this is her flat out mode. Doesn't get any quicker than this with her. Which, to be fair, if you have the previous mode on 100% throttle, then you're not going to really notice much difference between that and this, I don't think. Certainly I haven't. Maybe she covers a bit more ground, but I won't say it's not, you know, like going from speed mode 1 to speed mode 3. You know, it's not such a sudden jolt that you think to yourself, wow, this really is starting to eat up the air. This thing, it's currently sat at a height of 20 meters and is flying anywhere between 22 meters and over 80. I mean, sure, we've got 60, 70, 80 meters. Turn her around and bring her back. No problem whatsoever. Had her at over 90 meters there. You know, this is a dream to fly. This really is. This really is. Compared to the Vizio, this thing flies remarkably well. And the Vizio did fly well. It's just other things that let that down. But this doesn't have the right throttle or the right analog stick issue. Wherever you point this, it goes. It is just remarkably nice. Fluid, smooth. Yes, I'm 100% in her with positive pitch, but look at the movements on the left and the right stick for yaw and roll. They are minuscule amounts of movement, and yet the quadcopter responds with full articulation. It is, yeah, you know what, I'm really taken. Really taken. Now there is one thing I want to try. I do want to have another little look at that camera. So I'm going to bring her down. Oh, there is somebody coming as well, so let me down this, and then once the field is clear, I'll take her back up. Okay, coast is clear. So yeah, sorry about all the interruptions today, folks. Really wasn't on the cards. I thought I was using my head and coming out here a little bit earlier to stop all the interruptions. So here's what we have for a second. I've taken her up to a height of 20 meters. She's out at a distance of 53. I have no video relay whatsoever for the second. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try and see if I can initiate return to home. Now for this, it's going to have to be a total line of sight return to home, which is why I haven't taken her up to like 100 plus meters and then initiated it. Because I haven't, as I say, my video relay is totally crapped out. If I move the quad yaw either side, then the video doesn't move whatsoever. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click the return to home button here. Sorry about the position of the sun as well. There's not really a lot I can do about that, but I'm hoping that she will return without there being any issue. Now she's just flying backwards for the second. And she's gone above me. And what is she doing now? See, so she's going home. Wow, that is a ridiculously fast return to home. Ridiculously quick. Although I do think she's going to be out. I do think she's going to be out. I don't think it's going to be that accurate. Oh, it doesn't actually look too terrible. Well, God. One arm is touching. Look at that. Okay, is it going to turn off return to home? No. So I'm going to have to click it off. Not that much of a big deal. Right then. But she stopped and she was there, look. That's where she was. So, well, she had one arm on it. She was probably, if I was to be really pedantic, right to the back end of her landing sprig, or the tip of her propeller, I would say she's half a foot out, which, damn, it's really not bad. Really not bad. And still, even though she's on the platform, there is still no Wi-Fi at all. So I've totally lost any sort of FPV. So there we go. Well, I'm sorry about that, but all in all, apart from, if we look at the positives for a second, flight remarkable, movements so accurate, so loose on the sticks, but not loose to the point where you think, oh, what the hell is she going to do if I let go of this? Is it going to stop? Ridiculous accuracy with this thing. I think this is genuinely a really very good quad. That's after one flight though, folks. I'm going to do a few more with this today. I've got the other battery fully charged, and I'm going to do a couple of flights with it tomorrow as well. So I'm hoping that we're going to be able to really get a real good sense after multiple flights of this, exactly how she is or how she does after multiple flights. So far though, I'm very taken. All motors are nice and cool, so they're balanced well. There was no vibration that I saw. I was going to say there'd be limited jello, but obviously the video has frozen. That being said, yeah, I'm really quite taken with her. I think she's remarkably good. Battery cold to the touch. So yeah, I think that is so far a very positive outlook. Very positive outlook. Most negative things: Wi-Fi, relay gone totally. Fake antennas. You all know the way I think. You know, if you're going to bother to put fake antennas on there, then just run a cable up through it. Simple as, done. I think, to be honest with you though, folks, this is most certainly looking to be a winner. So I'm going to put the extra battery in her. I'm going to take her back up. I'm hoping it's getting even foggier now. Wonderful. And once we've taken this up, I'm hoping that then I'm going to go home, charge them back up, and I'll be back out this afternoon, because you've got to make the most of this weather, right? I tell you what though, I'm really looking forward to this. All right, my friends, well, that's enough of my rambling. Thank you ever so much for watching and listening. I've been JD, you've been fantastic as always. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe, and ring that bell too. Hello and welcome to all the new subscribers. I hope you're enjoying the channel. So until next time, my friends, happy flying.